Hi, and here comes Kathy B. I don't know which Kathy B that is. So this is evolutionary activism, and Marge Hahn, who you may have known from our last class, I talked to her and said, Marge, what should we call this? She said, she gave me these titles, so I trust her. She's a great wordsmith, and that's what this is about, is being an activist. But what does that even mean? Well, I think it means you choosing. I think that's what it comes. Oh, Kathy Buckland and Chris, hi. That you get to choose. So not that this is taking you out of the shoulds of how you're supposed to be an activist according to somebody else's idea or what you might have learned or read about or whatever, and actually tuning into, oh, active, like, oh, what do I want to do? Really, what do I want to do? Like, is there a do? Maybe my do is to take another good breath. And so I think the the whole arc of these classes is going to be just kind of, hi, getting here. Whew, isn't it amazing, from all over the place, getting here and then kind of settling in for a moment, remembering that you have a body. And I don't know, maybe we should nominate one of you all to say, body check. Anybody in your body? Anybody could do that, all right? I don't know if we have a reaction thing that would help us do that. But that's what this class is about. And so we'll start there, just kind of checking in. Maybe if there's any logistics, we'll do that at the beginning. So you can always come a little late if you don't want to miss that. And then I'm going to teach something. And the way I'll teach it is to say, okay, here's a tool. Let's try this one, and hopefully involve all of you. Although it might, depending on the tool, it might make the most sense for me to demonstrate it with one of you if you're willing. Oh, and what I did say to folks is this: we're going to play around with the recording here. That my intention right now is this will go onto a public YouTube. If somebody's like, no, I don't want that today, fine. I can still, we are recording it right now. If you don't somehow want your name or face on that, just take responsibility for that. But my intention overall is, this is my creative action. I have a few others, but it's mostly this one. Maybe riding my bike was one today. How can I come back into creative brain? That's over and over again. I was trying to do a quick coaching with my boxing class today. Well, what should we do? Well, the best thing you could do is get out of reactive brain. The best thing we can do is get out of reactive brain. And of course, that's as a species, reactive brain is so contagious. It's supposed to be, look over there, quick, everybody, ah! Over there, ah! What should we do? Right. And so over and over, that's the temptation. And I think that's what we're wired for. And so to kind of shake ourselves out of that trance of, I don't have to react. I don't have to hand my nervous system over to somebody else and say, all right, now you're in charge of it according to your words or actions or whatever, that I can come back into my own body and find me again. So yeah, so I'll teach a tool, and then we'll have some time for just kind of talking, Q&A or whatever. Where Channel is up there. Hi, Channel. Will you wave to us? There's Channel from New Zealand. Yay, Channel. What time is it there? Because I so appreciate that you're here.
It's 10:06 a.m.
10. Oh, okay. So you got to maybe sleep in. We were trying to find a sweet spot. We have somebody who was like, oh, it's France. I'm from France. Well, how to get the Southern Hemisphere and France all on the same time? Well, I'm not sure we quite hit it, but at least they can watch later, maybe. But Channel, thank you so much for assisting me with this. So Channel, as you'll get to know her, she is the one that can always find the handout that I'm like, oh, what just happened? Could keep an eye on the chat, and then also will model for us at different points. I think everybody here, I know pretty much. I don't know if I know you, Kathy, right? You're right there. Hi, Kathy. Were you? I don't know. You don't even probably even know who I'm looking at. It's Kathy B. Anyway, I know pretty much everyone else. So you've got some. I know you, Kathy Buckland. You've got some experience with me. Not that you have to, but so that means you're all like, right. We're all just learning this, and as you have your own, kind of breakthrough moments of, oh yeah, I forgot, or like we're going to be teaching each other. And so that's what I'm here for, is to learn from you and also to offer you an hour, an hour that says, oh, wait, we could have a different experience here. It doesn't have to, again, be all twirled into what's going on collectively. So yeah, so that's my plan. And I'm glad you're here. So I had it all written down out, and now it's in a notebook. It's buried deep in my pack, so I'm not going to go looking for it. But what I'd like to start with today is a basic framework that I think could really support you. Oh, there's one other thing that I want to just have you keyed in on. The last few minutes, like the last 10 or so, I'd love for you to be thinking about what is your creative action. And then if you want to share that in the chat. Now you don't have to wait. Do that through the whole time. But the creative action, okay, I appreciate the folks who will call their senators and do those things. That right, I don't know if I'll do that or not, but that probably isn't my idea of a creative action. It's someone else's, and I appreciate that. And so as you share your own creative actions, it will inspire us to think of other things. And it could be a direct to whatever's going on politically, but I don't know. In my, like, to me, my belief here is that the best thing we can do as activists is to stay connected to our own energy, our expanded energy, because that's where we actually want to do something. When we're way down in this contracted energy, I don't know about you, I don't want to do anything. I feel kind of hopeless, despairing. Where's the chocolate? So I'm not really, I mean, I guess you could consider that sort of active, but so versus staying out here in an expanded state as much as you can, nobody stays, right? Finding your way back, anchoring to as expanded a state as you can, because then from there, maybe your creative action will be to go bird watching. I don't know. It might be to twirl around. I'm not saying you should do the big. I'm saying what is yours? Like, just as you're gonna just remind yourself that, to me, as you stay in those expanded realms or can reach them again. I was noticing today, so I was not in that because I watched Rachel Maddow, sort of a guilty confession here last night. So I watched her kind of late. So I was kind of here. And then by this morning, though, as if we had taken a walk and kind of chilled out more, I suddenly noticed that nice guy who just moved over on the path for us and was kind. And I noticed things. I noticed the birds singing. I was more connected to this realm. Now, to me, I think once we are there, I don't know that there's really anything else we have to do. Again, these are my thoughts. They're arguable. But because once we're there, we are in an expanded state that is impacting, I think, the collective. I think our collective might be having some other states that might not be so expanded. I don't know if that's true. There's 8 billion of us. That's a lot of people. But if you find yourself caught or pulled into this stuff more, notice what happens with your own energy. Because again, last night was oh no, like my personas. I've got a little red hen persona. Sky's lying. Sometimes she's right. Okay, but it doesn't help if I really want to be able to be in the flow of energy and actually have an impact, even on myself, or maybe Frankie the dog, she probably has more impact on me in my state, but right? Just the folks around me, my boxing class, right? To start to imagine as what impact do you have? It might have more to do with your state and whether you're willing to appreciate somebody. Somebody appreciated me very directly, like, wow, she took the time to do that. That impact, like that was like, oh wow, I remember, oh, that's a good feeling. It helped me, it influenced me to be out here where then I can impact others, and it can go on and on and on. That's a real chain of possibility. So what I want to do to start with, some of you know this and could teach this, but I want to start with the inner map so that you can orient to this. This is something that I've been developing over the decades and love it because it helps me so much. I kind of think if it helps me, maybe it'll help other folks too to be able to hang out someplace else in a more expanded state. So I'm going to just walk you through the inner map. Channel, I think, is going to download it or put it on in the chat so that you've got your own copies of this stuff. Oh, I got to go look for it because I had a lot of stuff up. I was like, oh, I got to have show them this too and this too. All right, there it is. Nope. Should there be like a Zoom interlude like Jeopardy? Thank you. So a little smaller. This is based on David Hawkins' map of consciousness. I just really like to start there. This is his idea, not mine. I just made mine simple so that I could play with it, walk around with it in my own brain, keep it simple in my brain, especially when I go reactive. It's hard for me to remember things. So look his his map of consciousness up. You can find it in Power versus Force and the other books that he's written. He's written, I don't even know how many. He died a few years back, but yeah, go check out David Hawkins and find out more. But to just give you a real quick sense of this, if you look at this vertical map, vertical line, imagine that that's you. That's any mammal. Like to just imagine that any mammal has these states of consciousness. Now, humans, we call them certain things, but to start to think about more like how expanded and contracted do you feel and how much energy do you feel versus what's the actual emotion, although the emotion words certainly are helpful. And so what Hawkins did, which was so brilliant, was to say, these emotions can be lined up, or these levels of consciousness is more accurate, can actually be sequentially laddered. And how he did that was to say, because if you look down here, if you start at shame, it's the most contracted. There's very little energy in shame. We're all pulled in. If we feel shame, you could even try it right now, like there's just not much movement. There might be a lot of stuff going on internally, but in terms of the external, we really have turned into a little roly-poly bug. Now, the difference between guilt and shame, I know there's a whole bunch of ways of talking about this, and that psychologists, other folks, anthropologists talk about it. But here in this framework, the difference between shame and guilt is just that guilt has a little more energy. Now, it has more meaning. Like once we're in guilt versus shame, clearly our thoughts are different. But what I want you to start to notice is if you're looking for your energy, like where'd my energy go? Of course, we get up to agitated fear because I go, there it is. But down here, as you're starting to move up the map, you get to sadness. Okay, sadness doesn't feel very good. I'm not really. I'm kind of waiting for the day. Our friend Kathleen says, oh, I love to be sad. I love crying. I'm not that happy about it when I'm like, oh God, here I am. I'm sad, but it feels better than this stuff does. But why? Well, because there's more energy happening. There's more movement. Now, frozen fear, there might be a popular one today. I'm not sure. But there's still more happening than down here. You're looking around, you're orienting. What's happening? What's happening? Like, what's really going on out there? Get to agitated fear and anger and pride. There's a lot of energy up here. And some folks really prefer anger because they feel much more energized. And this pride is righteous pride. It's not, I feel good. It's, I'm better than you. Very popular. Pride is very popular. And I'd say, I was thinking about this earlier today. It's kind of a tough nut to crack because we just feel confident and we feel good about ourselves. And we're like, good, because I'm better than you is a really hard thing to interrupt because I finally feel better than I felt when I was down here. But we're still below the line. And so to think about this, that This line, this horizontal line, everything here below the line is our reactive brain cells. It's our threat brains that are very on what's the noun here? Like they've been activated because we're constantly watching for threat, which is how you all survived. So we're in a threat response. We're no longer in our natural state. The creative brain is our natural state, all of these other things. And I'll say that till the cows come home, like that one. This is our natural state, y'all. So keep your eyes on the prize, because if we're not there, we are not in our best selves. So all this reactivity stuff, that's what I was saying at boxing, uh, it uses up resources. It keeps us in narrow focus. There's all kinds of things that happen. We're constantly looking for what's wrong, what's wrong. It looks like it's all out there and that we've got to figure out what's wrong out there and solve the out there, instead of understanding, oh, all that's changed is my physiology. That's all that's changed. There I was, la 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 la. And then, right, my reactive brain detected a threat. Doesn't mean there was or wasn't one. It just said, ah, that's a threat. And I went into a reactive response. The cortisol and adrenaline coursed through my veins, and now I'm in a reactive response. Now, that is not our natural state, I say a million times. Just so you might get bored with this, but I'm going to remind you, this as compelling and provocative as it is, just beware of it. My reactive brain thinks I should stay in this all the time. It thinks I'm stupid. Really, I'm kind of an idiot if I choose to move out of this, because don't I know, right? You could probably relate to this. Don't I know the threat is big? Don't I know I should do something? Don't I know? Oh my God, oh my God. That's what my reactive brain says. I have a little doll. It's my little reactive Napoleon tyrant, because it really believes that I need to be in reactive brain all the time. But it's a liar. Really, this is animals in the wild are in this state the vast majority of the time. They're just hanging out. Then something happens and they jump in, they run, they fight, they kill, they are killed, right? But this is supposed to be a temporary response. Okay, so again, I'm going to say things a few times, y'all. This is for me. I told you. This is supposed to be a temporary response, just lasting a few moments in time, not your whole day, not after the whole thing happened. It's supposed to get you all into this mobilized, immobilized. Oh, I didn't, if you look more carefully at this stuff, mobilized, what does that mean? Well, we go into this stuff, we hear it. It's almost a cliche, which is wonderful now. Um, the fight, flight, freeze, faint, fawn. We've got a lot more F's now, but just let's go with fight, flight. How many times can I say it? The fight, flight is right here. It's mobilized. But if we can't get away, all right? If you can't get away, your chances, like you've got two, like go run, good. Everybody should be running more. After this, maybe you'll go run. Maybe that's your creative action. Run, 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 because that is great, because your body's like, get me the hell out of here. But if you can't run, that's when you're trapped, and you will either have to fight or you will go into a freeze. That's how you're designed. That's how you're designed. What else can you do? Now, fighting is a bad idea. It's a bad idea because you can get hurt. You know that. Your body knows that. That's why you should run away. Okay, well, freeze isn't that much better, right? So just staying in that frozen state just feels horrible. It feels really bad to us to stay in a freeze. So to start to see, oh, this is just part and parcel of being a mammal. Oh, darn, but oh, well, so here we are. But if we understand how this works, we can know where we are. Just this is the idea here. Figure out where you are on the map. Maybe you're up here. Maybe you enjoy peace. Yay. But to start to use this as a way of orienting to where am I now, so that then I can say, well, then where do I want to be? Now, some of the time it could be, well, I'm in despair and I want to be in anger. Cool, great. I mean, this is your life. You get to choose. For me, the message I'm carrying and the reason I'm teaching this class is to emphasize again over and over is this is not a great state to stay in. It uses up your energy. You get tired, right? I'm so mad. I'm mad. I'm mad. I'm mad. Now I'm exhausted. Well, because of that adrenaline, cortisol, those other hormones, it costs us, and we know this stuff really costs us. Like, ugh, I cried. I actually, one of my boxing mates said, "Well, I cried." I said, "Oh," and she said, "But then I felt better." I was like, "Okay, good." So we can move the density out and get back up here. Yay! But to understand, that's why I'm urging us as activists, whatever that means for you. The main thing, if you want to generate more energy is easy to generate up here. Oh, I love you. Oh, I appreciate you. Like I already feel, even just saying those words, I can start to feel more energy bubbling. I can generate energy up here. This stuff uses up energy. So to start to understand just sort of the economics of your own energy and your own resources that you're expending. So I'm going to stop the share and pause for a minute. For questions, but I want to add in, we're going to do a process that I love, and I'm hoping somebody, maybe your creative action will be that you're going to take an inner map and teach it to somebody. That's a great action. Or that the process I'm going to teach, which some of you have done, is called climbing the inner map. And that is it's such a simple idea that is so impactful. Maybe you'll end up teaching somebody how to climb the inner map. So that's what we'll do. And just after I pause and can look at you all and see if anybody has questions or comments about anything so far. Thanks for being here, everybody. Nope. Okay. And Shannon, I think I'm not looking at my chat. So there you are putting stuff in there. Thank you. Um, and Oh, and I want to just say another thing, Shannon, while you're putting stuff in the chat, so you could get a PDF. Shannon, will you put the PDF of my book into the chat also? So, yeah, so it's all this, the PDF is free. You can buy these little books. This is my On Evolutionary Power book. I'm not trying to make money. I'm just trying to create more books. That's what any money will go towards it that I just get donations for. Channel will put a QR code. If this is a free class, you don't have to give us any money. Fine. Channel is volunteering. I'm volunteering. Thank you, Channel. Just really because it's a public offering. And what am I else? Oh, but you can go to Integrity Arts Press and order these. I think it's like 5 of them for $30 or something like that. So with the idea of give them out to people, at my experience today, and maybe for a little while, is that people are looking for something else besides something that will support them to be in fear. So send them the PDF if you feel like it. Okay. Oh, thanks, Carolyn. All right, so let's climb the inner map. Now, to climb the map, yes, Chanel, I see you leaning.
Before we go there, you mentioned a QR code. I don't know what you're referring to there.
Oh, so Chanel, if you look, it was like 5 till. I was like, dee, 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 I'll send stuff to Chanel. So I sent, I emailed it to you. And so if you, maybe towards the end, you could just display it if anybody felt like scanning it, and it's donation straight to more books.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so let's climb the map. And now we have a handout for this, but you don't need a handout for this. Okay. It says this is what you do. You climb the map. So we'll put that, well, will meaning channel, we'll put that in the chat. But all we're going to do is start at the bottom in shame. And we're going to go from one rung up the land, up the map. And I think we can just do this collectively. Yeah, because we don't have a lot of people, so you could speak it in if you feel like it. So the idea here is, let me give you some context. I believe that humans are great storytellers. I was just listening to somebody. I don't know who. I listened to lots of people um, who said, "Oh yeah, it's almost a compulsion to tell stories." Like that's what humans do. We are constantly telling a story. Like right now, you're probably I don't know. Maybe the story is I'm cold, or the story is wow, I'm wished it was lunchtime, or right. I don't know what your story is, but you're telling some story about reality because you have to organize it. Let's see, a story I'm telling is that you're out there. Because it's a little wacky because it's just all flat here. I don't see you really. I can't feel you, right? But I'm telling a story that actually there are people out there that are right. That's could be a functional story or not. But to understand how important the stories are that we're telling ourselves, to the degree that we are not just great storytellers, we're great hypnotherapists. Now, therapist sort of implies it's helping us. I would say, so maybe we could just call ourselves hypnotists. The classic story that I tell, and I'm going to tell it again, is my client who uh, got themselves taken off the airplane. The airplane had already left the gate. I just love that so much. I've never even heard about anything like this ever happening, that they were freaking out so much. They were sobbing down the aisle once the plane was taxiing and the plane turned around. So when I asked them what happened afterwards, they said, "Oh, well, I started thinking." Right. So you can imagine, you could do it with me. You could do this, right? There I was sitting in the seat, and the flight attendant started closing the door, and I realized I see I'm already my heart rate just went up, and I realized I couldn't get out. And so then, as I was sitting there, I thought, "Oh no, I can't get out." And then I realized I can't even breathe. I can't breathe, and I can't get out. And so I'm not going to be able to get out for hours. I can just have to sit right. So to start to hear in that, like what I was listening for once I got the gist was, oh, my client was a marvelous storyteller. So are you. So are you. This was not specific to that person. In the middle of the night, why are you laying there awake? Because you're telling yourself a really scary story. Or through this whole time, whatever's happening for you, what's difficult in your life has to do with the story you're telling. I'm not saying it's not a true story. I'm just saying it's a story that's compelling enough that it's connecting you and anchoring you into a certain state of consciousness. So as you are go with me as we climb the map, notice how compelling these stories are. And again, I'm not saying they're wrong. I'd say it's all true. They're all levels of consciousness. They're all adaptive. Shame is an adaptive response as a mammal. Despair is an adaptive response. It's not like I should never feel that stuff. No, there is a time and a place for all of those. It's just if I get stuck there, that's the problem. Again, because if you're stuck in this stuff, you're losing energy, you're using up energy versus how about deciding to anchor yourself out here just because it's more, well, I don't know, energy efficient, energy productive. So let's start with shame. Oh boy. Like, oh, great. What is anybody's shame story right now? It doesn't have to even have to do with politics unless it does, but if it does, fine. What is your shame story?
My God, I did it wrong again.
Did it wrong again. I did it wrong again. I have that cringe story of, oh my God, I'm embarrassed to be an American. Any other shame stories?
The song I wrote that I was recording this morning is so hard to play. Like all I just kept thinking is, I suck. I can't do it.
I suck. I suck. You know, that could just be the universal shame story. Lynn, maybe you'll right. That's all. We could also probably sing it right now. Yeah, I suck. Blah 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 blah. and it'll never change. Blah, 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 blah. Right. Lynn Patrick, listen to her music. Oh, we'll do resources later too. We'll start a Google Doc on resources. We'll put Lynn on that doc. Any other shame stories that you're telling yourself that's keeping you stuck in shame?
Well, I could share, I'm not grappling with one in this moment, but I've been thinking a lot about power over the past 10 days and um, feeling increasingly empowered, actually. But I've been comparing it with how I felt early in my activist career. And I was so impressed with my fellow activists who were willing to get arrested, for example, and not afraid of it. And I imagined what it would feel like to be in that cell, and I knew I wasn't ready for it. And seeing your map clicked for the first time why I wasn't ready for it. I hadn't healed my shame around my sexuality. My parents did not respond well to that. And so that raw exercise of power over would have been really unhelpful for me at that stage in my life. So I've been, it's been an ongoing question for me. How did Martin Luther King write the letter from the Birmingham jail, right? And your diagram is clear, like he was in creative brain, even in this raw exercise of power over.
Yeah, he found his way. Yes, and Chris, I'm just gonna thanks for that little. Oh, I remembered because what does this have to do with the map? Well, it's the same thing, but only. I don't know if I can show this. I don't know. Like what's most dense is most like shame, just shame, guilt, despair, and it comes out. It's just a 3D version. It's not up down. It's just easy to teach it that way. Expanded, contracted.
I would go off of what Chris just said too and say that I feel sometimes like I'm neither strong enough or brave enough. Yes, you know who I am, Julie.
Yes, now I know you have to start talking. Thank you. Hi, Kathy. It's so good to see you.
You know that I'm not strong enough, brave enough. I think I felt that way my whole life. So, just trying to move out of that level of shame.
I'm not strong enough. I'm not brave enough. I can't do that. Maybe they can do that. Yeah, I'm not that person. I can't.
Or why can't I? It's not so that much that I can't. It's like, why can't I? That's the shaming part, I think, right?
What's wrong with me?
Why can't I be that? Why can't I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why can't I be the bishop?
Right. Yay, let's send kisses.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with that, so I'm just going to add in a little bit more of what's wrong with me that I can't be. And that place in us, if there's something wrong, there's something wrong. There's something wrong with me. Okay, we had enough shame. But to see the how that grabs us, right? Like, and to be in that place of no, see, there is something wrong with me. And why is shame right next to death? Well, because, oh my God, there's so much something wrong with me that I probably should die. Like, why am I here? And it feels so horrible in my body that it's like, oh, I can't live like this. Another reason to be doing this because, right, is people, it's hard to stay in this stuff and think that's life because it's not. Okay, so what's your guilt story, y'all?
I should be doing more.
Right? I should be doing more. I don't know what it is exactly, but I should be doing more. Or, seeing the things, oh, I should be doing this and this and this. I'm not doing those things. I should be doing those things. Are you breathing? We're going to keep going. These levels are like, I should be doing more. What's wrong? Like, right? It's not helping you. So let's keep going to despair. Yay. What's your despair story? Well,
I think for me, I don't know how I'm going to make it for the next 4 years.
How am I even going to do this for 4 years?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And is there any, and what can I do anyway? This is too big.
Yeah. That feels right. Yeah.
It's too big, too much, all that stuff.
Hmm.
Let's see.
That despair, I think that you were talking about, Kathy, is like that same despair of, I feel like how how is half the country
Hmm.
different? I mean, that's I just that I find, yeah, I get a lot of despair in that.
Now, as we lean into despair just a little longer, not my favorite place, but certainly familiar. Notice how, if we told the story for a while, how compelling that story is. I mean, any of these, but let's just tell that. Oh my God, those people are so different. It's
Hmm.
true. We tried, we couldn't do it. It's why I even try, because they're different. Like, all it can go on and on. And so we could write a book about it, right? We could write poetry about it, and good. I mean, I'm not saying that's it's creative action, but notice what it does to your energy. And what it's really doing is anchoring us into those states. And so when I read that stuff or hear that, I mean, I'm really sensitized. You could probably imagine why, to that. And I'm like, oh, I can totally feel my energy just going into that. Because I'm pretty susceptible, because I'm pretty suggestible. Okay, oh yeah, ugh. So now that I'm hearing it and part of this, that I can feel myself going into these different levels. Again, not that it's not true, just be careful about it. Be careful. What are you doing with your own energy? And this is about being conscious and aware. Okay, I get to choose. That's the what I'm saying overall here is you get to choose about what you want to do with your energy. So can we go to sadness? Yay, sadness. Woohoo. Anybody have a sadness story?
Families are being torn apart, or they will be. Trans youth are more likely to suicide. The oligarchs are gaining even more power, and it's the American dream that's in the Declaration of Independence is dying. Kind of on the edge of despair and sadness.
Well, good. Thank you, Chris, because noticing that those two are right next to each other, what's the difference? And this is, if you think mammalian, there's a very, actually, I'd say physiological difference between despair and sadness. With despair, I've given up the protest. With sadness, again, you can tell it takes energy to cry. I could just pull in and like, oh, see, it's too much. Or I could cry, but it takes energy to, oh, wait, this is not okay, because that's a protest. Come back. Hey, this is not all right. Uh-huh. So, but to get out of despair, that's sort of handy to know. Crying will help you move out of despair because it's the next level. It's the next level out here. You're getting more energy. Well, we better keep moving because I'm looking at time here. What's the frozen fear story? Anybody in a frozen fear state? Maybe not anymore. I have a big frozen fear persona. It goes like this. I guess there might be some agitated fear. That's my little red hen persona, but the frozen one is like, oh no. Oh, anybody have it? Like, oh shit. Like, oh my God. What do we do? Ah, I can't do anything. Can't do it. Oh no, here. Oh no, there. Oh no, that. It's a level of consciousness. It's as true as any other, but it's only one level of consciousness, y'all. It doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's more true than any other, just to underscore that. So let's keep going to agitated fear. What's your agitated fear story? Anybody think about leaving the country? Oh, there's
Oh,
Laura.
they're
What do you
idiots.
say it
They
again?
are idiots. They have no
Oh,
idea what they're doing. They're just okay.
I think you might have jumped right over agitated fear straight to anger. Way to go. Uh-huh. This is like a board game. Do not pass agitated fear. You could if you want. Right? It's like, oh, get me out of here. Like, oh, I can't do this. Oh no, oh no. Kind of that place of, does anybody have that story? Yeah, Hiroko, you're saying yeah. Do you want to tell us your story that goes with that?
Oh God, anything. Just like, oh God, here we go again.
Here we go.
You're gonna see people being more reactive.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh, I just watched those. I just saw a man kicking snow into cars, driving by, really angry and kicking the snow into. It was by your neighborhood, actually.
Maybe it's clearing out our driveway. But
Driving car, and then it got like I got some snow on my car, and then it just watching people and then being more reactive, and oh, here we go again.
so that heart pounding, I got to do something. I got to do something.
Yeah.
Agitated fear.
Yeah.
Let's be careful. Let's be careful. Just or aware. Aware might be a better. Of course, careful goes right with agitated fear. Laura started us off with anger. You want to keep us going? No, okay. Those idiots, like I can't believe it, and what the hell, and those people. My wife Kathy, she always gets angry first. She said, "I'm going to be angry for 4 years," and I thought we'll all go into frozen fear for 4 years. I don't know, probably not, but right, it's like, I'm so mad. Well, mad is great, except for how it's costs. Cost. So that whole idea, if is like if you're not angry, you're not paying attention. Like, well, people do a lot of things when they're angry, a lot of brave things often. So I'm not dissing anger. I am saying it costs. So cool. If that gets you to do the thing, to step in and do the thing, fine. Just know we're here, and you can come back to here and get some support from us, because it costs you, and it's hard. It's just hard on your body. It's overall stress brain, y'all. Stress brain, not good for you. Red zone. This is not good for you. These chemicals are not good for you. People say, well, we need stress. Sure, we do. We don't need ongoing, every day, every moment of the day stress. That is not helpful for anybody. Okay. It wrecks your immune system, among many other things that it does. All right. What's your pride story? Laura, you almost kind of got us to pride too. Do you want to speak it? What your pride story was?
My pride story is that they're all idiots. They have no idea what they're doing. They're just out of their minds. Well, maybe not all of them. There's one out of his mind.
Isn't that a fun story? Let's all appreciate that story, because in a moment we're going above the line. You're going to have to give it up, y'all. No wonder we other. That whole othering thing. Well, okay, that's that. That's what it sounds like. Those people. They, yeah. I would never do that, but they. Pride is a hard one to give up. It feels good. I'm good. I'm right. Why would I give that up? Because you're in react brain. Now, again, you can stay, you can go anywhere you want. But let's keep going, because we only have a few minutes. So let's get above the line, y'all. You're willing? Hey, breathing. Okay. What's a neutral story?
For me, it's well, we're here.
Here we are.
We're in this place. Yeah.
Here we are.
I can make it as simple as their thoughts and their sensations.
Just having some thoughts. I'm having some sensations. How are your bodies as you
Is
let
it
yourself?
like just being present? Is it like just being present
Well, and I'd say
in a way or
yes,
not?
yes, absolutely. But the what's circulating in our brains, I'd say matters. Because Kathy, as you try that out, like, oh, it just is. Well, I'm picking on you a little bit, but what
That's fine.
happens
Go
in
ahead.
your body? What happens
Mhm.
in your body when you notice you're telling that story that it is? It just is.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily feel that great either.
Because what happens? Where do you go with that?
It just feels flat.
Just flat, like, oh, yeah, well, it doesn't have any adrenaline.
Yeah, right.
Now, for some folks, it takes them to despair, and I don't know if that's happening for you.
No, I don't think it makes me feel despair, but it just feels more the kind of like, I guess, blah, which is not the way I would say if you were being present. I think being present takes more active involvement.
Oh, I love that. So let's see if we can actually get present what you're saying. So if this moment really is, let's all tune into this moment. Now, as I'm doing that, what I'm remembering is, which is not present in this moment, but it's taking me, my mind just took me to looking at some birds in the tree this morning when we were walking. And I can remember what they sounded like. But let's get here. Okay, Julie, bring yourself here. What are you aware of as you come into the present moment? How about your breath? You're aware of your breath? Aware of your heart? Aware of your heart? Oh,
I'm aware of a draining of tension.
like, ooh, I'm just right here. Now
For
let's
me,
keep going. Oh, go ahead, please.
for me, it feels like a settling. Like there's some relief. Oh, it is. It is. Just,
It is. Here I am. Kind of the facing into, okay, this is true. Here I am. Now let's go to acceptance, which is the next level on the map. Um, what's your acceptance story?
We're witnessing human nature.
Here we are. This is what we look like as humans. Yeah, Carolyn.
Yes, this belongs.
This belongs.
Yeah.
I like the Hendricks version of acceptance, which is kind of funny with Channel here because it's not actually true, but in the US, today is Wednesday. Can you accept that today is Wednesday? Or Thursday if you're in New Zealand? Like that feeling, oh, yeah, today's Wednesday. Like that's what acceptance feels like. I can accept that. This is happening. Now, ooh, I told you all the things and I'm not following the 10-minute thing because I want us to go to appreciation and maybe we can get to love, joy, peace. What's an appreciation story?
I appreciate sitting here with all of you, wanting to connect and understand and just be here.
Yeah. And notice how your body feels now. Because this isn't a cognitive exercise, really. I mean, it kind of seems like it, but this is very much about you are in charge of your own state by what you are saying. Okay, this isn't not trying to talk you out of your state, but I am saying, oh, it really matters what I say. If I say, oh, I appreciate, and I look at you all and I think, what is appreciation? Oh, I remember that. And here you all are, and you're spending your time this here, and I get to look at your faces, right? To notice how your body feels. Because now you're starting to anchor yourself out here. This is generating energy. What's a love story?
The puppy is all curled up in her beddy.
Oh, your puppy is there. Our dog is the best at for love stories. We get to joy stories too. We're like, oh, any other love story? You don't have to even speak it out loud, but maybe to generate one in your own mind, like to remember something or someone you love easily. Not because it's better than a despair story or more accurate, but wow, it anchors you into love instead of anchoring you into this stuff. So starting to see, oh, you're in charge of what you're thinking about. Not always, right? The thing happens like, oh my God, they're blah, blah. I've got to be able to have a narrative. But then I can be like, oh, where am I on the map? Uh-oh. Where do I want to be? Oh, like Lisa, how about neutral? So I commit to living above the line, which is not, that's a good commitment. That's a good challenge. About coming back over and over. Doesn't mean I'm always above the line at all. What's a joy story? Yeah, Channel. Oh, no.
I was just farewelling Carolyn. She just said
Oh,
she had
farewelling. Bye, Carolyn. She's gone. You didn't hear me. What's a joy story? Anybody want to reach out? Now I'd say now that we're out here, there can be a whole kind of moral dilemma. Do you get to feel joy today? Like, is that okay? I'd say, because you're generating energy. And what if that's what you're about? You get to walk around generating energy. And now you're like, you're fueling instead of using stuff up, your own energy. You've got no ability to be creative. So,
I also think it's contagious.
and it's contagious. And it's contagious. It's as contagious as this stuff is. Might take a little longer for us to shift because the thing with this stuff is those hormones take a while to metabolize. They got spurted out into our bloodstream. It takes a while to use them up, digest them out here. So it takes a little longer. But wow, when we're out here, oh yeah, I do like that. Again, that email that I got. Oh yeah. Whew. Now, because of time, let's go. We're going to go out to. Oh, do I have any joy story? Well, I just keep thinking of Sarah Schweppes' little puppy, Lula. And how Lula smells. I can totally, like, puppies are like joy on little legs. Lula's little legs. And peace. I'm going to tell you my peace story as a way of trying to wrap us up for today. My peace story, y'all, is nature is perfect. Nature knows what we're doing, and we are part of nature. I read this today that humans say, well, we're not part of nature. Well, every breath you take is oxygen coming in from, it was generated by nature. Every breath you take that you're metabolizing into your own body, your own bloodstream. So of course I'm an integral part of nature. And that as we know that, as we can hang out with that and find all the other beings, including all of us, 8 billion, and then all of the other ones that are out there, that countless, infinite, like that we can remember we're all connected. That's my peace story. So here's the part where you decide on your creative action for this week going forward. So the plan here, thanks, Channel, for putting that in there. Your creative action, if you want to just think about it, maybe tell yourself, again, you could just have your creative action could be to print out the map. Or it could be, I don't know, do tiddlywinks. Remember tiddlywinks? Whatever your creative action is that will help you. So stay out here or come back out here to anchor into something that once you're out here, I don't really know that you've got to do too much else except for maybe talk to us and remind the rest of us that this is a possibility. So if you want to share anything in the chat and inspire us, my intention will be that we will have a Google Doc that's full of resources that we can just kind of keep sharing with you each time. We'll keep adding to. I saw great Hidden Brain. Anybody Hidden Brain fans? I would totally recommend this one. It was about overwhelm. I just put it on the list. So it was January 20th, I think. Sarah Jaquette Ray is somebody who's talked about climate activism and dealing with kind of the emotions that come up with it's too big, it's too much, I can't handle it. So I'd highly recommend that episode. Anything else that you want to put in the chat right now to just inspire yourself and anybody else? Oh, great. Thank you very much. Wonderful. Oh, yeah. Whew. Beautiful. Great. So kind of collecting yourself, deciding for you, this is my takeaway. This is what I'm stepping out into and with during this time. All right. Any last comments before we wrap?
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thanks for doing this and
Thank
being
you for
here
doing
and
this.
being
Yeah,
part.
appreciating you, Julie.
Oh, yes. One of the takeaways I took away from that Hidden Brain podcast was this phrase, collective efficacy. Oh, there's another doggy. Collective efficacy, so that one of us, we might not feel like there's very much we can do, but we step into the collective and we can do everything. So that's what we're
Quick
doing.
question. Will you be sending us a link to this recording?
I think what I'm going to do, Chris, what a great question. How would I do that? Because do you want a link to this recording?
I do
Okay.
very much.
I
Like
will
to
send
share
you a
it
link to
with-
this recording. Yes, and it's also going to go onto our YouTube channel, the Evolutionary Power YouTube channel. So if you want to find it there, but yes, I will. What I'll do is do an email. So if you're registered, which I'm imagining you are, there'll be an email back out to you.
Thank you so much. And then what is that toy?
Oh, this is called a Hoberman sphere. Hoberman, Hoberman. Yeah,
Cool.
you can look them up. There's like one huge one in some museum. We should all have a field trip.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for being here, everyone. Till we meet
Thank you.
again. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank